Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, it's the 13th day of November 2022. I hope you're safe and healthy today and that your family's also safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field along with the first responders who every day are trying to save lives. And those also that pick up garbage for us to keep streets and sidewalks and stairwells and buildings clean. And those that make deliveries, the humble job of making deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women who are trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The victims also of pornography and child pornography. The victims of human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, on the perverts, and on those profiteers that traffic in this human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States, mostly children, that are living on the streets. And there are millions more around the world in similar or worse conditions. And all I'm saying is, blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. It was good to wake up this morning and see that the New York Knicks were in sole possession of the sixth seed in the Eastern Conference after fully completing one-third of the season. After 27 games, that's fully one-third of the season. 33% of the season is complete, and the Knicks are the sixth seed in the East. As we said, we're still looking for 45 or more wins from the Knicks. As we have said, Tom Thibodeau is doing a tremendous job, and he is tweaking his lineup, tweaking his rotation. That usually is not unusual for it to take him between 20 and 30 games to find the rotation that makes him comfortable. But he has found it, and since he has, it is four straight that the Knicks have won. Right now, they're the Knicks are half a game outside of the fifth seed. Tonight, the Philadelphia 76ers, who hold the fifth seed by half a game over the New York Knicks, play the Sacramento Kings in Philadelphia. Sacramento is perfectly capable of beating Philly tonight. So we'll see what happens. If they do lose this game, the Knicks become tied with them for the fifth seed going into Chicago tomorrow. If they win, the Knicks become like a game, maybe a game and a half, a game probably behind going into Chicago tomorrow. But at this point, what it means for the Knicks to be the sixth seed, it means that they're in the thick of the Eastern Conference race, the playoff race, where many were saying play in, many were saying that probably won't make the playoffs, running the negative narrative that big corporations like to run because of the millions of people that are making up Knicks Nation, and they're trying to get you to respond to them so you can watch their advertisers and they can make money. But it's a negative narrative, which is a false narrative. The New York Knicks have done a tremendous job in being the sixth seed after a third of the season is over in the East. Now, the thing is, not only are they the sixth seed, but it's how they're getting there. Think about this. There are 9 players. Tom Thibodeau going with a 9-man rotation. The 9-man rotation consists of 6 players that the Knicks drafted. Okay, that's different from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the New York Knicks went with a 9-man rotation. And the point of attack people were Elfrid Payton, who they signed as a free agent, Reggie Bullock, who they signed as a free agent, Nerlens Noel, they signed as a free agent. And of course, Julius Randle, who they signed as a free agent, and then RJ Barrett, who they drafted. This team is made up of Jalen Brunson, who they signed as a free agent, Julius Randle, who they signed as a free agent, Isaiah Hartenstein, who they signed as a free agent. But outside of those 3, you have Quentin Grimes, picked in 2021, 25th pick overall. Emmanuel Quickley, picked in 2020, 25th pick overall. Obi Toppin, picked in 2020, 8th pick overall. You have Mitchell Robinson, picked in 2018, 36 overall. You have Miles McBride, picked in 2021, 36 overall. You have a team of 6 players that the Knicks have picked. And of course, RJ Barrett, let me not forget him, picked in 2019, 3rd overall. You have 6 players in this rotation that make the Knicks 4-0 in the last 4 games, that have the Knicks in the 6th seed in the East. Now, Julius Randle. With regard to Julius Randle, it looks like the strategy from what I'm sitting is they're going to have to manage him. They're not going to trade him right now because they're winning. Okay, they're the 6th seed in the East after the third of a season is gone. When everybody wrote them off as being play-in, everybody said they won't. Some people were talking about 20 wins. Some people were even talking about worse than that. But here we are, 6th seed in the East after 27 games. So with that in mind, they're not going to tweak this. Tom finally got the 9-man rotation he wants, and they're going to roll with this. Now, the summer comes, that's a different story. We're going to see what happens in the summer. But that's a whole different game right there. Right now, they're going to leave it alone. The only players they're going to move are Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, and Cam Reddish. Those guys are going to be traded. The most valuable of them is Cam Reddish because of his youth, because he's an expiring deal and he's young. And if you want a young talent, obviously Cam is that guy. If you're talking about who the Knicks are going to bring back, before you start with that, you need to understand something. Whoever they bring back is not going to play unless the Knicks trade one of the 9-man rotation. Okay? So whoever you're talking about bringing back, they won't play. I don't care if it's Kyle Kuzma, Jay Crowder, whoever it is. They will not play unless they are able to take the place of one of the players that are now in the 9-man rotation. The Knicks are not in a hurry to break that up. But the only 2 players in that rotation right now that have a possibility of being traded, and it's not Julius Randle, it would be either Emmanuel Quickley or Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, with Emmanuel Quickley's recent comments in terms of wanting to stay in New York, in terms of being happy here, I hope that they don't trade him because he's extremely valuable to what we're doing. Hartenstein, though, he can be traded because after December 15th, which is 2 days from now, he's eligibly be traded. And we have Jericho Sims, who we drafted 58th overall in 2021, who has now developed from Tom Thibodeau's system into a very solid player for the New York Knicks, a rotation piece. So if they decide to make a trade, it would be at Hartenstein. Now, Hartenstein of himself is not that valuable. But if you add him to a Cam Reddish, you might be able to get something back. And the thing that you get back could play in the rotation, possibly. Again, you do have Jericho Sims, so Hartenstein might be gone and Sims steps up, and then you got Obi and Sims in Mobb Deep. So I don't know how they would handle that, but not everybody, but a lot of y'all keep saying who we're going to get back. The only thing we really need back for those 3 players is 2 things. Cash that's expiring, and draft picks that we can package with the plethora we already have for possible superstar hunting next summer. Okay. But right now, we don't need nothing. We don't need nothing because nothing's going to be breaking into that 9-man rotation that took 24 games for us to develop and win 4 straight now. Okay. So that's not going to happen. So you're looking at some people talking about Kyle Kuzma, not going to happen unless you're going to reduce your 9-man rotation by whoever. And there's nobody in this 9-man rotation I would be trading for Kyle Kuzma except Hartenstein. And again, I got Jericho Sims and I'll roll with who I drafted. See? So that's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen right now. Okay. So anybody, you're hearing all of this really false narratives, really false rumors by people that are looking for clicks that are telling you about the Knicks' interest in this one or that one. It's not going to happen unless it's a superstar. Okay. Now you're dealing with something different. And a superstar, I'm not talking about Zach LaVine. He's not a superstar. I'm talking about guys that are in the top 5 of this game right now that will make a difference right now, that will catapult the Knicks further. I'm talking about a Zion Williamson. I'm talking about a healthy Kawhi Leonard. I'm talking about a Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm talking about guys in that strata that will vault the Knicks forward right now. There's nobody like that out there, possibly Bradley Beal, but I don't think the Knicks are going to give up on Grimes for Beal if they didn't give up on Grimes for Mitchell. So that's not going to happen. So we could wipe all of that NBA 2K crack dreamland out right now. Okay, so they got their 9-man rotation. They're going to roll with this. And then for the 3 dudes that they do have to move, we're looking for expiring money back. We're looking for draft capital back. That's what we're looking for. So if you're talking about an Eric Gordon, he's expiring money. The Lakers got a couple of players on their roster that are expiring money right now that we can possibly, and they've been talking, with the Lakers. And I can see that because they got expiring money on their books right now. They got Pat Bev on their books. And believe me, some of you are still in dreamland thinking that one of these guys is going to be in a rotation. They wouldn't be. Pat Bev ain't taking Deuce's spot. It's not happening. Okay, so you got Pat Beverly, he's an expiring contract. You got Kendrick Nunn, he's an expiring contract. You got, who else you got? You got Dennis Schroeder's an expiring contract. Lonnie Walker, he's not an expiring contract. But you got a number of expiring money on here. Troy Brown Jr., Thomas Bryant. These are all expiring deals. Okay. Then of course there's the big name. The big name that's in the big elephant in the room is Russell Westbrook. But the Knicks have said repeatedly, they put out through the three wise men, they have exactly no interest in Russell Westbrook. So you're talking about, if you're dealing with Cam, you can get that, and you can get that money from anybody, but we're going to need a series pick from the Lakers for Cam. If you're talking about Evan Fournier, you're talking about $19 million. That's a combination of Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn. That gets that done. See? So again, it's expiring money we're looking for with draft capital. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for another player because nobody would break this 9-man rotation right now. It took them 24 games to build it. They're 6th seed in the East. They're not breaking the 9-man rotation. As far as Julius Randle, they're going to manage him. That's why Tom Thibodeau said what he said the other day in terms of somebody should have went and grabbed him. And RJ said, yeah, after that first one, we got to go grab him. You would think a grown behind man would know how to handle himself in that situation without acting the fool because he know he got one and his team needs him. But their understanding is that he can't. And they are taking upon themselves the responsibility of getting him out of positions to hurt himself and hurt the team. Because why? We're winning. And he's playing at an all-star level. That's why. Okay. So they're going to, for now, they're not going to move him because of the 4-game winning streak, because they can see something happening with this new nucleus that they got of Deuce, Grimes, Mitch Robb, and of course the rest of the crew that's playing good behind them three that are spearheading this tremendous defense we got right now. They're not going to move anything. So they're not going to mess with that apple cart. They're going to leave it flow. And they should. And so that's why they're not going to trade Julius right now. As much as I would like to see him move, they're not going to do it. And so they're going to try to manage around him. Okay, that sounds crazy, but that's what they're going to do. They're going to manage around him. They're going to have people. The only dudes on the Knicks that have a possibility of physically grabbing him and getting him out of trouble when he's acting the stupid is Mitchell Robinson and Jericho Sims. Those are the only two dudes that possibly. Last year, Evan Fournier tried to do it and he got tossed aside like a gnat. That wasn't going to happen. Okay. Julius gets stupid. He get out of control stupid. So you got to have big dudes step in front of him and get him get him off the court before he gets himself in trouble. So I think they're going to do that. They're going to try to manage it. That's why Tibbs and RJ both mentioned after that first one, we got to go get him. What you would think, again, you would think a guy, he got one tech. When Tibbs go crazy on the sideline and gets a tech, he calms down when the ref gives him that first tech because he know he don't want to get thrown out the game. Apparently, Julius can't even think that far. When he's out of control, he can't see nothing but red and he's on the wall path. You got to get somebody in front of him. That's what they're going to try to do. You can see they're going to try to manage that, and you can see why where they are right now in the East. 3rd year of the rebuild, and here we are again for the second time in 2 seasons in the top 6 in the East. Okay, so for all them people talking about, well, we were talking about playing, or they probably won't make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. Y'all don't know. Shut up. They're top 6 in the East right now. And I'm not saying, and again, I'm not saying this ain't going to change. It's going to change. But it's going to go up and down because right now, if you look at it, between the Miami Heat, who is the 10th seed right now, just lost and just won last night in Indiana. I saw that game. It was really good. They just beat Indiana last night. They are 8 games out of first, and they are 3.5 games from the 4th seed. They are exactly 2 games from the 5th seed. And then, of course, I mentioned the New York Knicks are a half game from the 5th seed. So it's all bunched up between the 10th spot and at least the 4th spot right now. So it's going to jockey back and forth. Winning streak's going to get you higher. Losing streak's going to get you lower. Every game's going to be important. But then again, when you think about it, that's typical for the East. It really is. That's typical for the East. That's how the East pretty much is every year. And so you got the Celtics who are really, 21-7. They just lost 2 in a row. But they the top of the East. Milwaukee just getting back Chris Middleton, and we're already in the top 2 or 3 in the East. And they now got back Chris Middleton. That's going to be tough going forward. So you're going to have power plays all year. But the point is the Knicks are in the middle. Okay, they're in the middle of it right now. They're in the conversation for a top 6 playoff seed. Okay, they're in the conversation. Anything can happen. They could win more. They're going to have some losing streaks, but again, right now, like I said, Boston just lost 2 in a row. Okay, you're gonna have losing streaks. Everybody does. Washington lost 7 straight. You're gonna have people with losing streaks. That's gonna happen. Phoenix Suns 4th in the West, 4-game losing streak. That happens to everybody. It's the league, okay? But the Knicks are gonna have winning streaks too. So again, with the defense we now have, with the rotation finally being in place, all we need now is time for them to gel. And like I mentioned, it took Grimes a few games to start to get acclimated with his J, to start to feel in the flow. A couple more games, he's still getting there. He's going to be all right. It's going to take Jalen Brunson a few games more to get acclimated with his new team, running this team. He's still learning that. This is the first year. It's going to take Deuce. I figure Deuce now has played in the rotation for 4 games. I give him another 6 games, and you're going to start seeing that jumper dropping because the boy can shoot. You're going to start seeing the jumper dropping. And then, it's another level. See? So I'm saying we are still getting better. The Knicks are a work in progress. Don't start jumping off bridges the minute they lose 2 in a row or they lose a close game or you think Tom Thibodeau could have lost the game or Julius Randle could have lost the game. That's going to happen. But overall, they're going to be on an upward trajectory going forward. 45 plus wins. You're going to see that this year. They could close on 50, but I'm saying being conservative, 45 or more. I'm thinking top 6 in the East, which is where they are right now. They're going to continue and be jockeying back and forth. You'll see them as high as 4th. You'll probably see them drop to 8th. It's going to go like that all for the rest of this year. It's going to be a dogfight. Part of what's going to decide who ends up in the top 6 is injuries. Okay, that's really going to be one of the deciding factors because you're going to have to solidify everybody, solidifies their rotation after you get through the halfway point of the season. And then your hottest teams are the ones that's going to be the cream at the top, at the bottom. And part of that is who's healthy. Availability is everything at that time of the year. And because the Knicks, really Tom Thibodeau keeps these kids, make sure they come in shape, and they all are, it's going to be good for us. Okay, it's going to be good for us. So, that's what we're dealing with right now. I think this kid's speed that we got is a really good prospect in terms of shooter. And I mention him because once they trade Cam, you need a guy that's ready to step in if somebody does get hurt on the wing, like a Grimes or an RJ. Well, probably Grimes, but you need somebody ready to step in, and that's the guy we will have. If they can get a young player in here, I would really favor Tari Eason from Houston right now. If we can get a guy like that, that would be a guy I'd like to see, even if he's got to sit for this season, but just to be ready under Tom Thibodeau in case somebody gets hurt. But we'll see how this works out. So for now, we're the 6th seed in the East. You Knick Nation should rejoice. We don't want 4 straight. We're the 6th seed in the East. It's possible tomorrow, as they go into Chicago, they're tied for the 5th seed, but they will not go any lower than the 6th seed right now. And so that's solidified for this game coming into Chicago. They could move into the 5th, depending on what happens with Philly and how they perform against Chicago tomorrow. And so we're in good shape right now. It's working the way it was planned to work when they drafted all of these kids. And Tom Thibodeau put them through his paces. Here we at. Okay, here we are. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the fact that your New York Knicks are the 6th seed in the East. Shalom.